Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about the difference between self-care and treating yourself, and yes, there is absolutely a difference and it's really important to know. So at 3S Fitness and generally in life, I encourage all of my clients to set goals and when they achieve them to treat themselves. And when we hit big milestones as a company, we treat ourselves. So when we treat ourselves to something like a manicure or a pedicure or a special coffee drink, or maybe it's a new lipstick or a new nail polish. You know, that's where my head is. Maybe it's a new sports bra or piece of workout clothing, or maybe you want to just lounge for a whole day and watch Netflix and just chill out on a Saturday and just have no responsibilities that day, and that's how you're treating yourself. Or you want to sleep in an extra few hours, and that is considered a treat, and that's your treat. And so your treat is something that you're rewarding yourself for accomplishing something. And treating yourself is incredibly important, especially when it comes to goal setting, which we will talk about at a later date, probably closer to New Year's resolutions time. But when it comes to goal setting, it's really important if you reward yourself when you hit goals, whether they're mini goals or big goals, and that reward should be scaled to accommodate that. And it's really important to keep you motivated and inspired to keep reaching your goals and your full potential and unlocking awesome things in your life. But there's a big difference between treating yourself and self-care, and I think it gets confused pretty frequently, and so I wanted to talk about what self-care really is. I've already talked about what treating yourself is considered and what is in that kind of category, and self-care is different because it's really hard work, you guys. Anxiety is not something that is easy to deal with on a daily basis, and people who struggle know what I'm talking about. And if you struggle a lot, if you struggle a little, we all still struggle no matter the degree of it, and it'll get worse and it'll get better at different times in our lives, but we have to realize that taking care of ourselves is really hard work, and taking care of our anxiety and keeping it at bay. It's about consistency. It's about using your tools and practicing them and being active with your tools. So when you find your tool, like we talked about in the last video, you want to make sure that you're being really consistent with it and that you're using it, actively using it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. However that tool fits into your life and your needs when it comes to your anxiety, you need to be actively using that. That is a definition of self-care. You should be studying and reading and learning more about how to better take care of yourself. It's like when you learn to play baseball, or when you learn a new sport, when you're really little, when you're learning to ride a bike. Whenever you're doing something for the first time, let's say you're learning to ride a bike, you didn't just hop on the bike and ride it right away, right? You had, well, if you did, that's amazing. I didn't do that. My dad, in fact, told me to get on the bike, promised he would hold on to it, pushed me, and I fell over immediately, and because he let go, and I was so mad at him. But I got on it a few times, I practiced, and then it got easier, right? And I got the hang of it, and I realized that I don't have to jump off to stop the bike. I can hit the pedals and it would slow down to a stop. When you are learning something new, something that is challenging, like riding a bike or like learning a new tool for your anxiety, it's really hard work, and it takes consistency and practice and all those things that I just mentioned. And that is the main difference when we talk about self-care versus treating yourself. Treating yourself is a reward, and self-care is practicing. It's a lifelong journey. It's something that you need to work hard at. It's not something that you just get for accomplishing something. Say you use a tool for, a week or 2 weeks, and you start feeling better, like a lot better, like really good. Like you're thinking, I don't need to use this tool anymore. I am good. My anxiety is cured. It's not something that can be cured. And you don't just decide you get to sleep all day or watch Netflix all day or treat yourself to something because you're all better now. That's not how this works. You can certainly treat yourself for overcoming obstacles when it comes to your anxiety, but when we're talking about self-care, that's something that never ends. Self-care for people who have anxiety, whatever kind of anxiety or issue that you're going through, it's something that is lifelong, and maybe you have to work harder at times than others, and other times are easier for you and you only have to practice your tool a few times a week. But I can promise you that if you completely forget about your tools, forget about how to deal with your anxiety, and you let it go, it will creep back in. That is the nature of anxiety. Our tools help us keep it at bay. They help us keep us sane, right? And living full lives outwardly and not having to focus too much on it. So you can count all of that as a victory when you're feeling better, right? And we want you to feel better. I want you to feel better. But you have to still practice your self-care in order to earn that treat. But that treat doesn't mean that you don't have to do the self-care. So that's kind of the difference between self-care and treating yourself. I hope this video made sense to you and that it helped you in some way. If you feel like you should share this message with somebody, please do. And no, I'm thinking about you and I hope you're doing well. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure to stay tuned for the next video. It's going to be really fun. We're talking about what not to do when you get that overwhelming anxious feeling, because there are a few things that you really, really shouldn't do when you start feeling anxious. So stay tuned for that video, you guys. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.